Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. Great panel today. We got Harry Glanz on.
Good morning, Harvey Freed. Good morning, everybody. Hope we're having a great morning so far.
There you go. We got a great. Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed.
Everybody.
Great panel today. We got Harry Glanz on.
Good morning, Harvey Freed.
Yes,
good morning,
totally.
everybody. Hope we're having a great morning so far.
Gagnon, of course, from Keller Williams out in the Lakeside office. He's always busy. You'll see him out all over the Southeast Michigan selling homes. Hey, my man, what's happening?
Just enjoying this beautiful Saturday. It's going to be a warm one today, so put the suntan lotion on and get out there and enjoy that beautiful day.
Yeah, get out there for sure. I mean, I was out early this morning. It is smelling like summer out there. It's just an absolutely beautiful day, getting up to 88 degrees. As Jacques said, it's going to be a beauty. A little windy, though, but put your sun protection on and get out on the golf course, do the whole thing. Why not? How about buying a house? Everyone's into that. They love doing that. And we're going to take your calls all about home ownership. 248-539-9797. Purchases are flying all around the country. We're definitely keeping up with them, Jacques. Definitely Southeast Michigan, the Midwest. Our numbers are really strong. Definitely keeping up around here locally.
Yeah, it's a crazy market here in the Southeast Michigan here. The Midwest in general, you're seeing a lot of demand, a lot of buyer demand, and not enough inventory. So if you want to sell, let's make a deal.
You know, I was going to conversation, a seller's market isn't always necessarily the best market for a buyer, I guess. And we always think a balanced market works best in normal situations, but we don't really have that going on.
We're going through the biggest seller market since the mid 2000s. And you're looking at homes that are selling for $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 over listed price. Home prices are up significantly. The inventory, as we always speak about, it seems the last year, is significantly down. But Harvey, what Jacques will tell you, as we talked about on our podcast with Lisa, myself, you, last Wednesday, is you have to be prepared properly to go out into the real world and make an offer, because it's very competitive out there right this second.
We talk about putting your team together, Lisa, and I would say that the general public's definitely got their ducks in a row, but we're still seeing, 25-30% of the buyers calling us, hey, with a brand new purchase agreement in hand, they don't have their funds together. They're not truly approvable, and they didn't really take advantage of, a couple months ahead of time. So, Lisa, let's say that people really need to get their paperwork ahead of time. The school season will be starting again, and families want to get in and close before August. You got to get your ducks in a row financially, your funds together, and your paperwork.
Yeah, I always say, be prepared. There's good surprises and bad surprises, and we obviously don't want any bad surprises like, oh, you need $10 more thousand, or oh, we lost your approval, or get prepared, get all your documents in. And everyone's like, I know it's a pain. I know it seems like a lot of paperwork, especially if you're self-employed or have multiple corporations or have multiple bank accounts. But what we don't want happening at the end is, surprise, I forgot to tell you that I write off all this income on a Schedule C that I forgot to give you, and now all of a sudden we don't qualify. So there's reasons we ask for all that documentation. We know it's kind of a pain in the butt. We're going to do everything we can to make it easy for you, to get as much of it to us as easy as possible. But it's imperative that we see it, because if we don't want to be giving you an approval that we can't close. Nobody wants to do that. We're all here to, close loans, get you into the house that you want. And we want to make sure that that's going to, happen for you.
Hey, you're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Show. We take all your calls, 248-539-9797. Jacques Gagnon, of course, whole family sells real estate. It's great always having these professional real estate agents. I know, Jacques, I was talking about buyers and sellers having that balanced marketplace. Who are the sellers nowadays? We talk about it, but, whether you're moving up or you're moving down or you're making a lateral move, the plan is so important, because, again, even these retirees, they're trying to save money. Can they really, step down? Or is it going to cost them the same? Who's the seller? Who is selling their homes? There is nobody.
I mean, they're selling homes, but what I've seen is a few of my last sellers actually have been leaving Michigan and going to Florida. They're retiring or taking early retirements because of COVID. So you're seeing some people moving from to, and you see other people that are just taking advantage of the hot market and have another house to stay on.
Hey, Harry, nothing wrong with that. We do mortgages everywhere, including Florida. We've done a ton of Florida mortgages across the United States. Anywhere you need to get a mortgage, of course, call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. We'll hook you up here locally, and you'll deal with people that are trusted and that you know. Harry, our Florida business is jamming. I got a couple closing this week. Jacksonville, Augustine, up and down, of course, the West Coast, Naples, and the Boynton Beach. Everywhere, Harry.
Yeah. Florida's our second best state, Harvey. And people in Michigan like to drive right down I-75 and they like to settle in Florida. It's been happening that way for years. And, to piggyback on what Lisa said, the process, everybody wants to tell you, and this is the hardcore mortgage real estate business show. We tell it to you like it is. Everybody wants to tell you that the mortgage process is an easy process. Everybody take out a pen and paper, take some notes here. It's not an easy process, but we can make it easier. Okay. We can set you up, we can make it easier for you, but don't be, there, all these phone calls that are coming your way, these texts, these emails, these TV commercials. Listen, I'm on TV too, but I don't say that it's an easy process. We'll just make it easier for you because we've been doing this for a very long time and we have experienced people that'll help you through the process. We process, close, fund, underwrite our own transactions. We'll make it easier and guide you through the process.
Lisa, no doubt about that. Sometimes we have clients all set and ready to go, and then life happens, and they call us up maybe a month or two later, and then now it's a whole different story. So it's just, a group of families out there, 20, 30% of them really have some hurdles to get over. So that's who we're reaching out to here in these extra phone calls. That's right. If you've got a ton of money in the bank, you're all set, you don't even have a house to sell and you qualify, well, then we'll send you over to Jacques right away. You can start looking for a house. But some of the families, Jacques, and Lisa will tell you, of course, they're caught. They've got to sell the existing one. We know that's going to sell quickly, but now they're always so scared about getting that offer accepted and moving forward. So it's all about timing. Jacques, talk to me a little bit about timing. Give me a couple even examples of what you've had going over maybe the last couple of months, a couple good stories.
So, with the people that have to sell first in order to buy, it's hard to get a contingent offer accepted in this market. So right. What a contingent offer is, if you don't know out there in the general listening land, it's you have to perform a item on the purchase agreement first before you can go to the next step. So if you have to sell your house first, we can make it happen. But the scary part for a lot of sellers that your buyers they sell their house fast, but they're having problems finding the new one. So you have to have that pre-planned in place to start really looking at homes before you even sell yours.
Hey, Lisa, I'm getting yelled at by my girlfriend. I'm sure you're yelling at Johnny too. The house across the street from me is for sale. Harry, they can't keep me away from it. I'm listening to some of the rap that some of the real estate agents are going with. Who would know more about that house than the neighbors? I mean, nobody. Jacques, I got to tell you, I tell that to my client. I don't know. I hope I'm not stepping on anyone's feet. But as honest to God, they don't know if this house has community a septic. I live on an island. The lady took a bridge to get there last night. She asked if the house had a basement. She tapped me on the shoulder. I was just walking by to get the mail. She said, I said, ma'am, you're on an island. Did you take that bridge to get here? It's not. Anyways, I mean, you really got to know what you're looking at and get your qualified team together. Lise, I threw it out there. So you do yell at Johnny, right, Lise, when he opens his mouth too much?
No comment.
Well,
She's taking the fifth.
Okay, so Harry, I've been told, and Nancy has told me this, I'm not allowed to talk to anyone who's driving by the neighborhoods, but I see what's going on. Again, I'm fortunate enough to see a house listed across the street from me and really watch over the last, from what they got the house prepared and what they've been doing. And now the sign goes up and boom, it's going to be highest and best. And just sort of hearing the conversations of the people outside, maybe I got the garage door open and I'm out there hanging out trying to feel what's going on. But it's one of those in-betweeners. And really, it's interesting. To me, it's all about knowledge. Jacques, comment on that. I want to know a lot about the house. You real estate agents are telling some of the buyers out there, hey, look, we can't even do an inspection. I talked to a guy buying a condo in Florida. They said there's no electricity in the house. So just weird things like that. Tell me a little bit about that. I want to buy a house. I just don't want to get buried in something that I don't want or unforeseeable problems.
So the idea of waiving the inspection, and we've talked about this a few times since I've came on this show in the past, it's not a great idea. You should always get a home inspection. I know that this market's crazy and sometimes the offer is better without one, but there are things behind the walls that you can't see that inspector can point out. And there's nothing worse than moving into a house and then you have to sink everything else you have left in your bank account just to live in it. So
well, you just came up with the extra $25,000 to even get the offer accepted and get to the closing table, right? Hey, we got tons to share with you here. Jacques Gagnon, of course, Keller Williams, Lakeside, and tons of information. 248-539-9797. We'll be taking all your calls.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry,
hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Fifth already, Harry. Can you believe it? What a great panel we have. Harry Glanz on, Lisa Lawson from Capital Mortgage, Jacques Gagnon on. You got questions about real estate buying or selling? 248-539-9797. We know what's going on out there. We'll make it good for you. A lot of great stories. Again, it's always those one or two homes out there that a little trouble, maybe overbid too much money, a lot of hope and wishing and praying that the appraisal would come somewhere near this make-believe price. But the neighborhood, Jacques, they're dictating what these homes are selling for. Again, if they're all selling for 25,000 over, well, then the neighborhood's going to show it there with those comparable sales. So a lot of good things happening. Want to throw out, we are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call us all week, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Also powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, equal housing lender. You can catch us all over the country. In fact, Harry, we got some big commercials coming out, I think, soon, maybe in our region and stuff. You'll hear more and more about Capital Mortgage Funding and Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation as we specialize in home purchases. If you're buying that $1 million house, that's what we can handle for you. That $2-3 million house, we'll take care of you. And again, if you're starter home, you can sit down with us, first-time home buyers. Jacques, these first-time home buyers really do need more information. To me, it's all about this knowledge I want to share. Like, you know, Harry says it all the time. You're giving too much out. You're throwing it all out there. But I want to share this information. I feel like the buyers, a lot of them now are getting into things they don't know what they're getting into.
Yeah, I've heard stories of buyers that didn't understand what the appraisal guarantee was, and they're giving $10,000, or they're borrowing it from Uncle Harry, $10,000 just to get it. They don't understand what that means. So if you're a new home buyer and you don't have a consultation with your mortgage rep and your realtor together in a room or on Zoom, then you should really, really reconsider that, because you should know everything before you sign a contract.
Becky Alley joins us on the line. Becky Alley, of course, top 1% of all originators in the United States. Good morning, Beck. What's happening? Becky, off the year, we were talking about good stories, bad stories. Everyone's got one. Of course, we don't have any at Capital. All of our purchases just close 1,000 prints. No one else does either. With that in mind, Beck, it's really about getting these clients set up for successful home ownership, and as many things as we could address up front, or a family could address maybe now, so they don't have to deal with it in September, October. That's what we're always urging. Oh boy. Yeah, for sure. Hmm.
Mhm.
Well, that's interesting, and Beck, I'll throw this out to the panel, including Jacques. It's a contract and all. You got to read those contracts, get lawyers on new construction. Here's the deal. You want to play hardball with the builder, he'll sell the house to somebody else. There's just no inventory out there. So, Jacques, we're
Exactly.
seeing this leverage. I hate to see it that way. It's sort of a negative energy leveraging people and sort of forcing them in in an undesirable way, to say, hey, look, you're forced to pay this or we'll sell it to somebody else. Jacques, just comment on that.
So, I mean, with the situation with the lumber costs at the very end or the appraisal guarantee, just communicate about it ahead of time. Just be educated. You should have an education. There should be no things hidden in the closet. You should know ahead of time. And if you're going to write a $15,000 appraisal guarantee, you better plan on paying $15,000. If you get less, congratulations. But don't cry when it comes out. Oh my gosh, we could get it reappraised. You're not going to get it reappraised. It is what it is. And you better be ready to fulfill that contract.
Harry, I want to relight the fire on families out there to refinance their homes. Maybe a little bit of a slowdown. It went from 100 miles an hour down to about 80. The sales have flattened out due to the inventory, but this is really an opportunity for families out there who need to refinance and use some of the equity in their home to maybe get rid of the mortgage insurance, pay off student loans, really reconsolidate their debt and take a look what they can do to better themselves. Even a buddy of mine, boy, I'm kicking him. I'm like, why did you wait so long to do this? And but we'll get them going. And just if you could tell us, Harry, a little bit about that. Maybe just a tad slower as families, Harry. Maybe they want to travel, go out to eat as restrictions are starting to come down a little bit.
Well, it's no secret that everybody that wanted to go ahead and refinance their home did not take advantage of the lowest rates in history. Right now, rates are extremely low. They're not at historic low rates. Everybody wants to talk about that. Listen, everybody, 10 and 15-year rates are in the twos and 30-year rates are in the threes. Okay, so don't miss it. What Harvey's talking about is right now you have an opportunity to save money on a monthly basis. I know that sounds boring. We talk about the fundamentals and Becky hit on it. Listen, if you're a baseball coach in practice, you're working on hitting, fielding, throwing, and your specialty plays every single day. So when you get into the game, when you hit, you throw, and you hit your cutoff man, you know what you're doing. It's the same thing in the mortgage business. Rates are very low right now. They're going to go up. There is no doubt that they're going to go up by the end of the year. That's what's going to happen. They're not going to be the same today as they will be, in December as they are today. So you need to get out and refinance the home, save $100, $200, $300 a month. You're going to be in that house for a while. That translates to tens of thousands of dollars.
We have so much information to share with you here. Join the show, 248-539-9797. I want to go back out to Lisa Lawson. Lisa, self-employed buyers, they're out there. So many of the families out there, they might even be W-2, do run some small businesses on the side. But of course, they meet their tax guy. They're hiring their CPAs and their attorneys, Lisa, to make sure they don't overpay the IRS, to write off all this stuff that they can write off. They want to keep their tax money. They want to keep that number low, obviously, and keep the money in their pocket at least. How come now families, it's 2021, I've been doing this too long. I'm shocked when I meet a self-employed person who really doesn't understand what their adjusted gross income is. How do we get self-employed people to understand they need to have those tougher conversations, or the CPAs do with their people, and say, hey, you're not paying taxes, but this is the income we're showing?
Yeah, reduction of tax liability equals reduction of income for the most part. So if you're writing off everything that you make, so you don't owe the IRS or you want a refund, and then turn around and say, look, this is what'll happen. I make $120,000 a year and I'm self-employed. And then I get their tax returns and I said, it shows you made $19,000. You've written off all of this, all of these expenses. So there are a few that can get added back in. Sometimes things like mileage, if you're on a Schedule C, but it's not dollar for dollar. If you're writing off 52 cents per mile, you're only going to get 26 cents back. So, people have this idea that, that they make all this money and then they want to qualify for a mortgage. And they don't realize that that reduction of liability, a tax liability, has also reduced the income that we're allowed to utilize to qualify for a mortgage. So, some write-offs are real and we get it. We're not saying pay more tax than you owe, but sit down with your mortgage professional and possibly, if you can, with your tax, preparer,
For
and
sure.
say, here's the game plan. I want to buy a house in 2 years. I know,
Right.
Reducing my tax liability. I also don't want to show no income. And come up with a game plan. So we're all on the same page.
Yeah, it's typically a 2-year average. Becky, we run into that all the time, and someone, hey, well, look, I made a lot of money. I'm showing it all this year, but the first year you didn't show it. So very important to get in front of someone like Becky, or our top upper brass. Also, hey, Beck, let's dive back into purchases a little bit. We were talking about it before, what happens, you're doing these pass fail purchases, home inspections. I mean, do you just walk away? Do you ask the seller to fix the small stuff? You have to have money in your pocket and know what these things cost to repair if you're doing a pass-fail inspection. Mm-hmm. That's why I like, hey, Jacques, I mean, like if I show up to the house and you and I look at each other, we know it needs a roof. You could put a number on it. Yeah, we've done this a few times. We could say, all right,
Absolutely.
We don't know what's under there. And let's just decide right now that underneath the shingles, the 2 layers of shingles, is some soggy wood. And the cost of those planks used to be $1 a piece, and now they're more like $30 or $50 a piece. So yeah, we're thinking and talking. If your agent isn't talking like this and getting into these more detailed conversations about your home purchase, I think you need to switch it up. Get that great team. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We'll get you set up with these great people. That's what it's all about. Let me ask you though, Jacques. Go ahead. I love those. Yeah. The lumber is taking over now. Crypto, the new cryptocurrency out there. But Jacques, hey, if I run into some problems, am I able to go back to the seller? Or do I just say, look, I'll eat the hot water heater? I know a hot water heater's $1,000, $1,200 to replace. I'll pay for it myself. Is that what you do? What do you do?
Every situation is different. So sometimes in multiple offer situations, you may not be able to get anything from the seller for repairs. But that's also where your agent come in negotiating with the listing agent to find out. What I tell my buyers right now is if it's a life-threatening situation and there's mold or something in the house, we should address it. If the roof is going to be bad in a few years, we should save for it or plan on looking at a different house. But what Becky said earlier, do not buy out of desperation right now, because that is when you're going to lose everything and all your money and all your wishes and all your fans. So just be very careful out there. Don't put yourself into a corner because of this market. The right house will fall in front of your lap. There's a plan out there for you. I promise it's going to all work out.
There you go. Watch your questionable decisions you're going to be making. All right. We're just about halfway through the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Show. We appreciate all your calls coming in. 248-539-9797. Definitely want to hear from you. When we come back, all of your calls.
Isn't that the cutest?
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. That's 1-800-569-7283. Don't confuse that with live here in the studio at 248-539-9797. Our panel today, Lisa Lawson, Harry Glantz, Becky Alley, Jacques Gagnon, great real estate agent. If you want to call 248-539-9797, definitely do so. We got so much to share with you. I wrote this down because I want to add more and more of this to the show, is the good stories out there. And the good stories are families, first-time home buyers. I had one last week. They sent me a 5-star review. I really appreciate it. But they were 5-star clients. Last year, Jacques, they tried to buy, and they were FHA buyers. So we quickly changed that. They saved their money up and they improved the credit score. It was about 20 or 30 points even. And bam, now they're conventional buyers. We got the offer accepted. homeowners in Livonia and a great house, and they're closer to my age. So it's nice to see, you know, again, a lot of times your first time home buyer could be 40 and up.
Yeah, so some good stories. There's a persona out there right now that FHA and VA are not going to get accepted, and conventional is the only way, or cash is the only way your offer is getting accepted. And that's actually my last 2 buyers. One was a VA, got accepted over multiple offers, and the reason why is because he was a veteran, and that helped out a lot. Great story though. My first time home buyer, FHA. We went 30, 40 houses. We saw them all: tears, sweat, blood, all of it.
Right.
But we finally found the perfect home for him, and it's been nothing but a blessing. The transaction's going well. The wife calls me all the time, smiling, happy. The best thing about it is they took advantage of the 7,500 DPA, and we got them some concessions back, so they don't have to bring much to closing at all. So if you're a first-time home buyer out there, there are programs out there for you right now, and that doesn't mean you're not going to get your offer accepted. You just have to be creative, and that's all there is to it. And it's a great market out there for buyers. No matter seller's market or buyer's market, it's still a great market out there for buyers because, again, like Harry said earlier, the interest rates are low, and that is a lot of money saved over 30 years.
Lisa Lawson, I love what Jacques says. He's out there showing homes. The first-time home buyers are usually more work. Why not? There's more competition for those homes out there. Jacques, you had no problem showing them multiple homes. Like you said, maybe up to 30 different homes, and they finally found the right thing. Lisa, isn't that a success story? We love those. We always tell families too, look, what's meant to be is meant to be. But hey, you can help yourself. If you need a Mishta loan, maybe you can get that loan accepted. Mishta loans are great. Lisa, tell everyone a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so Mishta loans are amazing. There's a lot of misinformation out there about Mishta. So people think that Mishta means that you have no money, and that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. You can have up to $20,000 in the bank. And sometimes that makes the difference between being able to make a higher than listed offer. So you can pay more than a house appraises for, and that's recently changed with Mishta. And you can use that extra money, right, to make up the difference. So say you have 20 grand in the bank and the house, you have to do a $5,000 appraisal guarantee, and you've got that money, you can do that. So, and Mishta will pay the down payment, closing costs, taxes, everything else. So there's a lot of ways to structure these deals to make it work for everyone. And I think it's important that everybody understands that.
Hey, Becky, let's roll. Go ahead, Becky. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. G.
Yeah, I will say this to him. Becky said it, and I'm going to say it again and re-emphasize this. Money is money. What do you care where we get our money from to fund the program? We ultimately come to the table and we wire transfer the money, our money, to closing. Then we go ahead. We might package the loan up and sell it off, or we might service it ourselves. But then we'll get our funding from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, Mishta, whomever. What does everybody in the transaction care where the money comes from, as long as there's money at the closing table? That's number one. Never could understand that. Number two, with Jacques and all the realtors out there, and Becky said it again, and Lisa's saying this for years, and two of you, Harvey, why would we want our client to move into a house that is not safe? Okay, there are health and safety issues out there. The best realtors know. Okay, that's all I can say about it. Remember, Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, we give it to you straight. You don't want to buy a house that has health and safety issues. So we send somebody out there for your protection to make sure that everything is up to snuff. So, Becky, I'm with you. That's one of my hot buttons too. Money is money. Why does everybody care where we get our money from?
Hey, Jacques, I'll let you go back to the purchase side of things. Definitely on that. Exactly. Hey, we're all about getting the families in the homes and making sure everyone's happy. I commented on earlier. Do you cringe maybe when I said that? I tell families all the time, I'm like, you love that house. You got your offer accepted. Why don't you drop out there tonight at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock and see what's going down? See if you can talk to a neighbor or two, maybe early in the morning. Maybe take your dog for a walk in the new neighborhood with your your little bags or whatever you're supposed to use, of course, but you can do these kind of things, right? And
Exactly.
really get a feel of what's going on. Hey, if you take your dog for a walk, you just got your offer accepted and neighbors are yelling and screaming, that might not be the neighborhood for you.
Yeah, that's I told my one buyer that there's a certain area of Oakland County that's up and coming, but there's some scary surroundings. I said, come here tonight at 9 o'clock at night. If it's sirens and gunshots, you may not want to have your newborn son live here, but if it's most likely going to be okay, and that's the best thing to do. Also, drive by at nighttime too. You got to drive by through the day, see when the different traffic is, different noises and stuff. So it's going to be your home forever. So you got to make sure you love it. I want to talk really quick about the FHA and VA thing and how I was successful with it. When it comes to the FHA and VA, there's repairs that may need to be done. Good agents can spot them out before. I know the paint's going to be chipped. I know that the railing's going to be installed. So I'll tell my buyer, what do you think about us offering to do those repairs if they come up? And every time I get my offers accepted for FHA and VA, it's because we do that. I've been there before, scraping the deck with my buyer, painting it on a Saturday, cracking a cold beer together, things like that. So that's what you got to do. And if your agent's not sitting there telling you, hey, this handrail's going to have to go in, instead of us asking the seller to do it, why don't we just tell them we're going to take care of it ourselves and handle the repairs? Now, if it's crazy repairs, negotiate that. But if it's something easy like handrail or chip and paint, take care of it yourself. You're gonna go a long way with your offer if you do stuff like that. And your agent should be there backing that up.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Right. There you go. Get that great team together. 248-539-9797. We take all your calls here at the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. We're in our 21st, going on to our 22nd year by trusted people at Capital Mortgage Funding. And I'll tell you, you need a mortgage. That's who you got to call. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Every mortgage program available we have. We specialize in fixed jumbo loans. If you're buying a house or you've got that $1 million house, give us a call. You're going to save a lot of money. Again, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Hey, I'm going to throw this one out there for all the mortgage people in mortgage land. Wow. I've been running a lot of credit reports and they keep coming up. Frozen credit. Becky, you got to be cringing right now a little bit, or Lisa. Hey, a lot of families out there signed up. There's fraud across the United States. There's so much of these things happening out there. Again, you got to monitor your credit properly. So if you've got it frozen and you're going to move forward with the mortgage, you've got to call ahead of time. Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. You guys running into this, or is this just me? Okay. Right. After the break. All right, definitely a quick reminder out there that property taxes are coming due soon. July 1st is the summer property tax shock. As you know, a lot of the families out there that purchase a house, they might see a little bit of an increase in their property taxes. That's good news. That means your house is appreciated, and it might even appreciate as much as 18% is what the national average is. When we come back, some statistics. We've got a couple calls out there. Give us one, 248-539-9797. We'll be back.
Hi, Harry Glanson Danberg from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show. 9:45. We got some callers calling in. 248-539-9797. If you want to join the show, it's just mortgages and real estate. Make it easy. Learn a little bit about this, and maybe we can help. Tom in Livonia, what's going on, Tom? You got a question about refinancing? Yeah. That sounds like too much. Yeah. Probably not. Lisa, Lisa, that's the thing, Tom. He's 65. He's only refinanced probably a couple times in his life. He's getting the wool pulled over his eyes. And, unless a lot of that money has to do with him rolling in his escrows. Lisa, will you comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, 10 grand seems a little steep. I don't know what kind of taxes you're paying at your house, but taxes and insurance make part of that. So if your taxes are really high, that maybe is, just a little high. You said you're 299 and we were just talking about, is this a 30-year mortgage, Tom? Yeah, so it could be too that they've got points built in there, which is adding to the cost. Because most of the 30-year rates right now are more in the threes, not necessarily the twos. So, why don't you give us a call? We'll call you after the show. Make sure we get your contact info and we'll break it all down for you.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, it sounds like they're playing. Yeah, they're charging you way too much in closing costs. We're going to hook you up. But again, it's all about education. I'm glad you made the call, Tom. We got your number and we'll definitely follow up with you and see if we can hook you up. Hey, Lise, let's just talk about that out loud in general with that. Here's a caller. So he's got let's say he's got a high interest rate, in the higher 3%. It's not even a high rate. It's a great rate. But he's taking a look and saying, hey, I got a 30-year. Can I save some more money? Give me a little bit. I mean, that's the thing. At least we see this. Clients are chasing the rate. Maybe they're better off dropping the years down on the mortgage and building more equity.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes looking at a 15-year, because those rates are definitely lower, and getting that house paid off faster makes more sense. We go through that. There's also 20-year loans. I don't know how long you've been in yours, but you could do a 25-year if you've only been in this specific mortgage for a few years, so you're not losing time. There's a lot of different options, and really the best thing is to evaluate all of them to see what makes the most sense for you.
All right, let's continue the calls here. Dan out in Richmond, this little closer to Jacques' area there. Hey, Jacques, let's see if we got. Hey, Dan. Dan, listen what the guy wrote on here. He writes, no one wants to touch your house. What does that mean? What'd you tell my guy? Yeah. Well, you're in luck. We do manufactured housing. Yeah, you're calling the mortgage professionals and we handle that. Hey, I have a couple questions for you. Private property. I mean, you own your land, of course. Now, this manufactured home's on a foundation of some sort. What's it laying on? Yeah. Great. And it's a manufactured home built after 1978, right? You got all your paperwork for it? When you fastened it down to the crawl space and all that, you got all that, even the foundation cert? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, we got a little bit of work then. Well, that's very important. I'm glad you mentioned it because those tags are very important on these. But we might be able to dig that up from you. You might be able to call the manufacturer. So there's some things you can do.
There's other ways to get that.
Yeah, Lise, we can help them out. Dan, you made a good call this morning. I think we might be able to hook you up. How much do you owe on the house, Dan? Just for so we know going into the weekend. How much do you owe now? All right, we'll fix you up. What do you think that house sells for in today's market? Uh-oh. Oh, you got plenty of equity. All right, this sounds like a nice one where we can definitely follow up with you after the show. We appreciate the phone call. It's a good call you made. All right, a little bit more work on our end, but we're up for the task. That's right. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800, low rate, the best mortgage banker. I've been there going on 28 plus years. I would have left if there was a better place, okay? This isn't just some talk here that I show up for every Saturday morning. I would have left a long time ago if we couldn't handle your mortgage. And I'll tell you, we are fantastic. I love our qualified staff. When you call, you get to talk to real mortgage professionals. That's the difference nowadays, Jacques. Hey, look, everyone's got a real estate license nowadays. Everyone's a mortgage guy, Jacques. You tell me, is every agent qualified to help a buyer in today's marketplace?
No, I mean, some agents still don't know how to spell the word fiduciary, let alone understand what it actually means. If your agent knows how to calculate their commission of $200,000 without even thinking about what your bottom line is, then you got to really reconsider it. It's not a hard entry into our professions, and that's the barriers are easy to get into these professions, but you really have to find someone that will, going back to our conversation earlier, be out there on a Saturday painting the deck or pick up your phone call at 10:30 at night, whatever it takes. So just because you have a license doesn't mean you're licensed to be the greatest.
Jacques, again, and Harry wants to jump in on that one. Uh-oh, Harry, go ahead.
No, I think it's important. I think what Jacques said, and I think as a consumer out there, I think if you listen to this show and you just listen to Harvey talk to that guy, Harvey asked a series of questions to try to get some information before jumping into saying what we could do for you. There are certain things that people have to be aware of. There are certain things that you just don't call someplace up and say, well, I want a mortgage. And they say, we'll give you $299. And then all of a sudden an estimate shows up on your email that you're paying $10,000 in cost. I mean, that's what you're going to get if people don't ask questions. And also there are so many letters coming out, so many emails, so many phone calls being made by companies that are scam companies. I sent our legal counsel this past week a letter that referenced our name on the letter. So they made it look like it came from us, and it's very deceptive. And my legal counsel emailed me back, basically said, Harry, we absolutely agree with you. The majority of companies sending these letters are nothing more than scams. They use public data to find information on recently closed loans, then trick. That's the word legal counsel used.
Yes.
And trick consumers into believing these letters come from us. If you call the number listed in these letters, it's typically just an automated system asking for personal information. All right. Do not give personal information to anybody. They're strangers, only people that you dealt with in the past. We filed complaints with the Attorney General's office, but frankly, they don't seem to care. These companies are like playing whack-a-mole. Once we beat one or two down, 4 or 5 show up again. So everybody out there, you got to be very, very careful, and you've got to ask. And we ask questions of you. We're not being nosy. We're just trying to find out how we can help you in the best light possible.
Hey, Jacques, we got to wrap up, so give me some final thoughts here.
You know, it's like you're saying, Harry, about that. If you data scamming is a big thing right now. So your personal information is very important to protect, but also protecting your money right now as a buyer. Before you even think about buying, if you're 7-8 months out, call us today. Let's have a plan. Let's have a consultation. Let's get things together. If you're thinking about selling your house, I'll sell your house in 5 minutes. Give me a call.
Yeah. You're amazing. He must
don't even have to put a sign up. We just put it on the listing.
I put it right and it's gone. You got like 20 multiple offers out there. Hey, Lisa Lawson, go wrap us up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think dealing with experts and getting the knowledge is so important. You know, sometimes people say, well, I just want to get in and get out. I don't want to have to listen to all this extra stuff. But all that extra stuff sometimes, you know, is information, because we want to make sure you're making the best decision possible for yourself and your family. You're getting the best mortgage product for you, and that you understand all the scenarios, you know? So sometimes people call and say, this is what I want. And I'll ask them, well, why aren't you asking for this? And they're like, I didn't even know that existed. So it's not that we're being nosy. We know it takes a minute, but getting all that information is imperative so we can help you move forward in the best light possible.
All righty. Your family's growing. You need to buy a bigger house. Call us, Capital Mortgage Funding. That's right. That's who brought you the show. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. I want to thank Jacques again, Jacques Gagnon, of course, Keller Williams, Lakeside. He's one of my favorites to have on. He's the real deal. Again, we know all these great agents. Call us at Capital and we'll get you set up the right way. For Harry Glanz, Lisa Lawson, Becky Alley, who joined us earlier, I'm Harvey Freed. Have a wonderful Saturday. Buckle up, be safe, and don't drink and drive.
Oh, rough.
Well, that was a fun one.